All right. This is the writing video that's going to delve more into just the writing curriculum. So if you were using something like The Good and the Beautiful, which we can't provide, and you didn't need to look at a whole curriculum overview, you just needed a writing component, you're probably watching this video. Or if you're using some other curriculum that maybe that is weak in writing and you want the writing choices, we're going to do a quick synopsis of those that we offer. So the first I'm going to go over is the IEW, which stands for Institute of Excellence in Writing. Now, typically, IEW has had this in a CD and book form. The first thing they started with was the Student Intensive Course A and B. This starts in 3rd grade. You don't want to do this before 3rd grade because it's too complicated. IEW is known for emphasizing how to write, not what to write. They're going to give the information that the child is going to manipulate and basically rewrite. Writing has 2 different skills. There's how to write and idea development and what to write. Oftentimes, children actually can quickly put together one or the other. If they have a really creative mind, they might think of what to write quite easily. But the how to write and putting that into some form of structure when all they want to do is get the ideas down can be a little bit more difficult. But more often than not, kids actually struggle with the what to write, and they do better with the how to write because it's kind of formulaic. You can learn all the rules for how to write, but what to write, they have to come up with their own ideas, and I think there's some insecurities in that. So this is going to focus more on the how to write and give them the ideas so that they get really strong in that and later can learn to make their own ideas as they get more into the upper levels. So Student Writing Intensive A starts in 3rd grade. B is for more late elementary, early middle school, depending if your student is ready for it. The Student Writing Intensive A will go through various topics. It won't stick with just one topic. This has typically, like I had said, been on CDs and been in a binder form. But just this year, they have moved to an online form where you'll be able to still get the book and the student packet, but the recordings of the teacher teaching it will be online that you can just access, which is nice because usually we would have you guys reuse DVDs. And on the DVDs, sometimes they get scratched and that's really frustrating, or one might come back missing. The online is going to work really well. It's intense on the parent in that there's a lot of editing and explaining, but the actual lesson is done on DVD. Well, now online. The other part of IEW that they also offer, which has a different role, I guess, it's still teaching them how to write, but it's very specific to a topic. So you could get one that's topic specific. This one is a U.S. history-based writing. I don't know which way is the best way for you to see it. Anyway, in it, they're going to have very similar lessons, but it's going to all be on U.S. history topics. They have a lot of topics, including ancient history, medieval history. So whatever we're learning on Da Vinci Day, you could actually do your writing program to match it. So for that, they could add their ideas that they're learning on Da Vinci Day into their writing, which could be really effective and really cool. I have several parents who have used that in the past and have really enjoyed that. They also have a couple that are more science-based, like all things fun and fascinating and just different topical. Those, to my knowledge, are not online though. Those are all on you to teach. There's CDs that will teach you how to teach IEW, and then you go with it from here. There's a teacher's manual and a student book for this type. The other one's on DVD. So that's IEW. Lots of different topics there that you can look up online, or your ES can get you the topics for. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Brave Writer. Brave Writer, I would say, is a little bit newer and trendier. I love the Brave Writer writing program. They have it. It's a varied age group. So the Jot It Down is ages 6 through 8. The Partnership writing is ages 7 to 9, I believe. And then the faltering ownership is ages 10 to 12. And all of them have monthly projects that you work on. So it'll give you a project and you work on that writing project all month long. And it breaks it down into weeks. So it says week 1, you're compiling this list. And week 2, now you're going to take that list and do this with it. So it breaks it down in a really easy pattern, and it makes the topics very fun and very engaging. It covers a lot of writing standards and it's just fun. I think in the Jot It Down, it has like 1 month, you're learning to write in code. So you have to talk about using symbols and making kind of like a new language type thing, or like a secret code. And so the students will have to write something using their secret code. And that may seem very non-traditional, but it's really fun for the students and really engaging. So it comes with basically the month plan. There's no worksheets to it. It's all the projects are here with the breakdown. It also gives you a sample schedule for the whole year and what it could look like. It'll say sample month for spring and what it would look like using that. And it'll talk about the different components in that book too, including oral language and recitation. And they study a lot of poetry in this and do some memorization and recall. So, and it talks about intentional conversations you should have with your kids. And it's just a very, very good curriculum, especially if you just want to spend some meaningful time with your kids exploring writing. This is a great curriculum. You can also get the Writer's Jungle, which this one isn't going to have lesson plans. This is really kind of your teacher guidebook that you don't necessarily have to have, but it would, I know it looks thick, but it is really great for all the background knowledge on it, to if you are wanting to dive in and kind of do the brave writer lifestyle that Julie Bogart will talk about. We also have the 7-day writing blitz that we can print off for you, which could give you a little introduction into the style that Julie Bogart does. And that could be a little sample thing to see if you want to do the rest. All right. Next here is Writing with Ease. Writing with Ease is more of, I would say, a Charlotte Mason model. It's going to do a lot of copy work and recitation and dictation in it. So there's a couple different components. One is that has been the traditional method is levels 1 through 4 has a workbook, and in it you have the lesson plans in the front and then the writing pages in the back. So it's all the dictation. It has some comprehension in it, but mainly it's, again, more teaching them how to write, not what to write. It's giving them what to write, but they're learning the mechanics of writing as they follow a dictation being given to them. So they have to punctuate correctly, indent, use proper capitalization, kind of giving some of those punctuation, grammatical information in there, as well as learning. They have like passages and such that they're working off of, some poems, and they have to listen to the narration and be able to be dictated from it and learn the different mechanics of writing from the dictation. So really easy to implement. It is scripted. It gives you exactly what you were to say and about the response your students should be saying, so you know you're on the right track. Very much a pick up and go curriculum, very easy to implement. And this one, you can start level 1 in first grade, and it goes up to level 4, but level 4 is really remedial. If they're not really getting it very well, then you do level 4. Otherwise, you go levels 1 through 3, and then you jump to Writing with Skill. Now, Writing with Skill is different. It's a lot heavier, I would say, a lot more on the teacher. It still has a lot of information. It's all broken down into steps. It gives you the rubrics you need, how to help the student, but this is where the student starts to take their writing and become more independent with it. They're still going to be given the topics to write about, but they're going to start getting more into the research phase and it has lots of levels, but elementary is only going to get to level 1, really. This is a level 2. It's more middle school, but it will come with this teacher's manual and a workbook. Whereas in the beginning levels, you just have a workbook with the teacher stuff in it. In the writing with skill, which is the upper level, you have a teacher text and then a student workbook. The student workbook is going to tell the student what to do. So they're going to become a lot more independent, and you are more guiding them instead of teaching them. So that's how it's different. This is excellent for standards coverage and for really prepping your child for high school and even college writing. It is phenomenal. It takes a little bit of a learning curve to get used to. And then eventually, again, like if your student it can be independent, this is a great curriculum for them. You just kind of have to get them a little excited about it because it looks very black and white. Okay, next is Winning with Writing. It's put out by Jack Crisp Publishing, and typically people pair it with Growing with Grammar and Soaring with Spelling. And this is the writing component. I love this for elementary. It starts in 1st grade and will go up through 5th grade. And it has, in the upper level, starting in 3rd grade, it has a 1st semester and a 2nd semester. In grades 1 and 2, it just has the one workbook. But as you get into the upper grades, you're going to have 2 books instead of 1. So you can see level 1, 1st and 2nd semesters, it's just in one book with an answer key right on the back, or there you go, on the back. In the upper level, starting in 3rd grade, you'll have a book of 1st semester and a book of 2nd semester. That's level 5, and again, an answer key. But what's wonderful about this writing program, you can teach it, but the students can also be independent. It's broken down very simply, and it builds them to writing 5-paragraph essays. Obviously not in 1st grade, but in 1st grade, it's going to build them into what is a good sentence and then what is a good paragraph and working up toward that. But it does it in such a gradual manner that it doesn't feel overwhelming. And again, it gives them the topics, but I always encourage parents, if the student doesn't like the topic, change the topic. They can do whatever topic they want. They can just use the template in here. So for instance, Winning with Writing, level 5, 1st semester, they're going to start talking just about main topics. They're going to talk about the concept of writing and having a main topic. They're not going to ask them, pick a topic and write about it. They're going to tell them what a main topic is, and that is lesson 1, day 1. Very short, sweet, and to the point. It's a 1-page lesson. Day 2, very short, sweet, to the point, and it's going to help them pick a main topic and talk about, ask them some questions about the main topic here. And it's going to be spending time on the main topic the entire week and just what that is. And then eventually, it's going to have them do some multiple choice on one day and then picking out, it says for each main topic listed below, writing 5 details. So they give them a main topic and they have to do details. So they're doing the difference between main topic and details that first week. Not having them write a paragraph, just helping them to start the brainstorming phase. It's that whole idea of what to write versus how to write. They're doing how to write, but they're going to teach them what to write first and how to do that idea development. So a lot of the curriculums I've already shown you were focused more on the how to write. This is going to be more focused on the what to write while integrating the how to write as it goes along. But it always starts with the what to write and breaks down main idea, inferencing, details, topic sentences. Let me go to the descriptive writing versus personal narratives versus creative story writing, and how those different types of writing, how they're broken down differently and how you generate ideas for them, and then how you put the mechanics in. I love it because it just is broken down so simply and has days 1 through 5. So if you try to get it done in a full school year without going into the summer, you may have to do 2 days in one, because it's a 5-day schedule and you have a Da Vinci day that you do, which will take writing out 1 day in your schedule. But it's so easy to integrate 2 days. I would just put day 1 and day 2, because they're typically the 2 easiest days of the week, and just put them on Monday or whenever your first day of school is for the week. And your kid will get them done super fast. So just really easily integrated. Next is Spectrum Writing. Spectrum Writing, I brought kindergarten and a 3rd grade. It is a simple workbook. It's going to cover some writing standards, but not all, especially in the upper grades. In the younger grades, it's going to cover more writing standards, not as much as expected. But in upper grades, they're expected to write, in 5th grade, for instance, a 5-paragraph persuasive essay. Spectrum writing is never going to have them do a 5-paragraph persuasive essay. It's going to talk more about the mechanics. It's going to do grammar in here, as well as teaching just mechanics in general of the indenting, punctuation, and such. So let me just show you some of these. I wouldn't say, like, starting in 3rd grade, you'll want to supplement it with something for full standards coverage. It's on a 32-week schedule, which fits right in with what DaVinci has. You only have to do about 4.5 pages per week to keep on a 32-week schedule, the way DaVinci has in their calendar. It's just a workbook. You do a page a day, which is not overwhelming at all. It's a little bit more colorful. This is the kindergarten one. You can see they have pictures. It'll say write 3 facts you know about horses. That's that page. But this is a kindergarten one, and my kindergartner could not write 3 facts about horses right now. That would have to be later in the year when they're a little bit ready. So in kindergarten, it's higher level, and as it gets up, I feel like it goes down in level. But the older it gets, the more writing there is, the more reading there is. They have to rewrite passages that they see, and there's some reading comprehension involved in this. So they had to read this passage and then answer the questions about it, which can cover some of your comprehension standards. So that is nice, simple, and easy. If you have a curriculum, for instance, like Moving Beyond the Page, or a phonics curriculum that doesn't have much writing in it, pairing it with Spectrum would be very easy and not very overwhelming for your child. Really easy, colorful. Next is Essentials in Writing. Essentials in Writing is very popular with parents because it has a DVD that teaches your kids right here in the back. Use it, it's consumable. You get to keep this book and DVD. It has, it has a handbook, which is going to give you your answers for it. And this curriculum does some writing, but it does a lot on grammar too. So a lot of your grammar and writing standards will be covered in the Essentials in Writing. And if you look in the teacher's book, you'll see that they have covering of the proper nouns and action verbs and adjectives, but they're relating it all in your writing. So a lot of grammar. It has the student text, and it'll have, again, probably a page a day, nice and simple. This is level 1, so in 1st grade. And you can see it's just nice and simple, spaced apart, not super overwhelming. If you have a child who gets really easily overwhelmed by lots of words on a page, this is a great option for them, especially, or if you have a child who you need a break from teaching them for a subject, this is another great one that's not overwhelming, that they can kind of do a little bit more on their own because it has the teaching there, and then you can check over their work and clarify anything rather than doing a whole lesson yourself. So I believe that just starts in 1st grade and goes up through 5th. Because we're a 5th grade thing. And the last one is Building Writers. Building Writers starts in kindergarten. This orange one is the kindergarten. And this should be grade 5, I believe, because it's level F. They go by A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, it's going to be 5th grade because A was kindergarten. Sorry for counting on my fingers. This one I really love for covering standards, especially in the younger grades. It comes from the company Handwriting Without Tears, or Learning Without Tears. So if you've heard of Handwriting Without Tears, I've been referred to it. They came out with this Building Writers, which is more of a learning how to write, not your script writing, but actually learning a little bit of grammar with it and taking a topic and writing about it. So in kindergarten, it talks about what writers do. And it says, you are a writer. Writers tell what people, animals, or things do, and they'll answer it for them. Bats eat bugs. So all they have to do is copy it. So that's what all they're doing in the beginning, which is great for somebody in kindergarten, like my son, who isn't ready to write his own ideas yet. he would like to write something else to start out to get less overwhelmed, but he'll still be able to learn, like, everyone's a writer. Writers do this. And it talks about writers ask questions. And then it has them draw pictures about what they're writing. And first, again, they're writing, they're just copying, and then they're doing a picture on it. So that one, it says copy the story about the baby bat and draw what happened. So there's some comprehension in there as well. This one, they have to plug in the word. So it starts to get a little bit more complicated, has a little bit more comprehension. This one, again, gives them the words right there, which is great for the spelling, and they start to write a little bit more on their own, and it just keeps progressing and progressing with having the words in front of them until they're writing quite independently. It also covers the main topics of writing, so it's going to talk about narrative writing rather, and then informational writing, and then opinion argument writing in every book. But it goes to the next level, which is great because a lot of writing curriculums may not go to all three of those. They might just focus on narrative. They might just focus on opinion. A lot of our curriculums will do several of those, including Winning with Writing and the Building Writers. I would say that the IEW might do some jumping around, but a lot of times, especially in their topic base, they're going to do more informational writing because they're rewriting information on that topic. So they're not necessarily going to get into creative story writing too much in it or opinion writing. So it depends what style you want to go with and whether you're passionate about them learning how to write creatively and the what do you write, or if you want to focus more on mechanics on the how to write, or if you want to do a little bit of both, you'll kind of choose your curriculum, and your educational specialist can help you choose those with that. So I would say the ones that do both of those very well are Winning with Writing, Building Writers, and Essentials in Writing are going to do not only gathering your own ideas, but the mechanics really well on both sides. And then the ones that do more mechanics and less creative are going to be the IEW. So more mechanics, less creative, Writing with Ease and Writing with Skill, Spectrum Writing and Essentials in Writing. And then the one curriculum that is really heavy on creativity, but maybe not so much on mechanics, is going to be your Brave Writer. It's still going to have it in there, but not as intensely as the other ones. So again, if you're just wanting to do idea generation and getting your kids excited about writing, that's going to be that creative side. That's going to be Brave Writer. So hopefully that breaks it down and helps you to choose which writing method that you either envision your child going toward that sounds fun for you even as a family, or what your child needs that you think maybe they're in a weaker area or maybe more interested in. So you follow that route depending on which way you're going with your homeschooling. Or you do what I do sometimes, which is pick it based on what I feel I can teach the easiest. And that is more my personality, so I can be excited about it and get them excited about it. So there are your choices. I hope you enjoy watching this video and that it was informational for you.